of the police numbers from police officers being shot last year to this year, all right, and they've already reached that number. We're not even
that doesn't prove that hands that don't shoot had to do with it.
All right.
No, I'm not saying that specifically. There's so
you
much more to
cited it.
Well, that's part of it.
But there's no evidence of that. You just made that up out of the sky without
When you got politicians out there just waving their hands, just making comments about how the cops are bad or that the cops are murdering too many black men. Come on.
All right, there you go. Joining us now is Heather MacDonald, fellow at the Manhattan Institute, contributor to City Journal, and great to talk to you. Great to see you. I know you were on CNN with Mr. Cuomo and Charles Blow this morning. Great job.
It was an interesting conversation.
Difficult circumstances. All right, so you wrote a great piece, and I knew that the requests would be coming in for you fast and furious, the new nationwide crime wave. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a new nationwide crime. Here in this city, every day, another woman was killed up in Harlem last night. They're looking for the guy. There's video that they're showing in Brooklyn, a guy just shooting a gun in the street, injured somebody. I mean, it's becoming like it was back in the days of Dinkins here. And nationwide, the stats are higher than ever. Is it directly related to the villainization of the police?
Well, that's my hypothesis, Steve. I don't have any other explanation. Nothing else has changed. Unlike the claims this morning on CNN that somehow poverty was driving this.
It's all poverty. Poverty's new, brand new.
Right, exactly, never happened before.
Yeah.
So, what we have experienced that is new or at a level we haven't seen before. I always get.
Yeah, there's something going on here. All right, we'll give her some water. That's the beauty of live television. Now, she is having a Marco Rubio moment, ladies and gentlemen. So the media, take it easy on Heather MacDonald. Don't lambaste her and ignore the whole message, which is a wonderful message. And what Heather's writing about here, in Milwaukee, homicides up 180% by May 17th over the previous year, last year. Through April, shootings in St. Louis up 39%, robberies 43%, homicides 25%. And it's in St. Louis, it's in Milwaukee, it's in Baltimore, it's in New York, it's in Chicago. Week after week, we see that how many people are killed and shot. And these are, for the most part, minorities killing and shooting and robbing in minorities.
Well, the Black Lives Matter movement has not said a word about people like Marcus Johnson.
6-year-old boy.
6-year-old boy shot in St. Louis the same day that protesters were converging on the Ferguson Police Department demanding the resignation of the entire department. Nobody knows his name.
Right,
because he was shot not by a police officer but by some thug. Yeah. So, what we have been seeing that is different or at a new level is this anti-cop conceit that has taken over the mainstream media, is repeated by President Obama, by former Attorney General Eric Holder, by Hillary Clinton, that the cops are the biggest threat facing young black men today. And the cops are backing off of discretionary policing.
And when people like Charles Blow, and I don't want to make this about him, but when they corner you or try to corner you, like this morning on CNN, and say, so you're saying black men? You're saying this is because they're black men? And you're not saying it's because they're black men. You're looking at what's going on. And it is black men committing the overwhelming majority, if not all, in most cases, some cases, these crimes, and that's the facts. That's what's happening. You're not saying it's because they're black. You're saying they're doing it and they're black.
Of course not. And I love the left sort of saying you're playing the race card against the right. That's what they play all the time.
Absolutely.
The conceit is that white officers are preying on black men.
Right.
And of course, when there's black officers involved, that sort of gets swept into the racism debate in any case.
Right.
But it's not
they conform to the racism of the
that are playing the race card all the time.
Right.
But again, the data is what it is, as you say. And policing today is data-driven. It's not race-driven. 50 years ago, it may have been race-driven when the police were ignoring crime in minority neighborhoods. Today, they're going where people are being victimized regardless of color.
So what is the goal? I mean, at the same time this is happening in New York, we have Mayor de Blasio who doesn't want more cops hired, who wants to decriminalize, turnstile jumping, urination in public, and wants to, if you have an outstanding warrant for a minor violation, he wants to excuse it. So at the same time crime is on the increase, we have a villainization of the police forces, investigation of police forces, settlements with the Justice Department of the police forces, decriminalization, less cops in New York. What's the goal of the left here? Chaos?
They have no goal. I don't think they understand what they're moving towards. They just want to agitate against their favorite target in order to take the conversation away from what the real problem is, which is family breakdown across America, but it's worst in the black community. But nobody wants to talk about fathers.
And one of the reasons given by the left, and I forget if this is from Obama or a Charles Blow type commentator, and by that I don't mean black, I mean philosophy. That all the black men are in jail. Oh, that's another thing. In New York, they can't arrest drug dealers who are over 40 because it'll tear apart families, and that's the reason. Well, if you arrest all these black men and put them in jail, then of course they're not at home. Well, if they're committing crimes, you have to arrest them.
You know, I've just been looking at this new book that's the Brennan Center, which is a left-wing criminal justice organization, has put out, with voices from the left and the right saying we're over-incarcerating. We need to de-incarcerate. And they throw out a favorite statistic, which is 1 in 3 black men will be in prison at some point in their life. And they say the problem with that is the prison. No, the problem with that is the crime commission. That's what we should worry about. And there's many, many law-abiding black males who are doing everything right.
Absolutely.
We should figure out what they're doing and try and emulate that.
If a Ben Carson could have the life story he's had, and so many successful blacks, not because they're successful, but because of what they've overcome in those personal stories, like a Clarence Thomas at Condi Rice, even, and others. I mean, the president, some might say he had a cushier life than the aforementioned. Then you're right. We need to learn from that.
Right. Right. But the problem isn't prison, the problem is crime.
Absolutely. What are you supposed to do? Oh, he's a black man, he committed a crime. Don't put him in prison, then he won't be at home. That's insanity.
Well, that's
good
what's
to
happening.
See. I know.
Thank you,
good
Steve.
to see you. Good job again on CNN.
Remember
Thanks for being
my
here.
water next time.
That's all right. The event, the Marco Rubio moment. The Malzberg panel's next. Don't go away.